To discuss is the Senior Director of Government Affairs at the National Taxpayers Union, Tommy Aiello. Tommy, nice to see you today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
All right, solve it for me. How do we make it so this doesn't happen again?
You know, unfortunately, what the Democrats are putting all of the American public through is terrible, but it's avoidable. There's a couple of bills, bipartisan bills in Congress called the Prevent Government Shutdowns Act. This is being led by Senator Lankford of Oklahoma, a strong conservative. What his bill does, it basically prevents government shutdowns from ever happening again. Every time there is a close to lapse in government funding, the government just goes on autopilot at a 2-week period, meaning that the government continues to be funded, all these government agencies can stay open, and we can avoid another needless government shutdown that costs the American public dearly.
It does. You know, the president today, and we'll see how this plays out, he just tied DHS funding to the SAVE Act. And he told the Senate, don't plan on going home for Easter, just stay in town, get it solved. He's putting the screws to him, isn't he?
He is, and as he rightly should. We need to make sure the government gets open. And unfortunately, what the Democrats are doing is really terrible. It's forcing people to get to the airport, in some cases, 4 hours early, like they are in Atlanta. This is a system that just cannot go on with business as usual. The Senate should stay in Congress for as long as it takes in order to get the government reopened. Now, what I'm most concerned about is if and when the Democrats take power in November, whether it's the House or the Senate, they're going to have a lot of leverage over President Trump in future funding battles. We need to defang the Democrats, pass Senator Lankford's bill as soon as possible to make sure that the Democrats can't hold this over President Trump in his last 2 years in office.
You know, the American people are sick of this, Tommy. They are. I didn't get my way. I'm going to shut down the government. And look, these TSA workers, this is the third time they've been used as pawns in this funding back and forth over politics. Look, ICE is funded through 2029, so is Customs and Border Patrol. So the things that the Democrats are trying to impact aren't even affected by any of this. It's raw political gamesmanship. Go ahead.
No, it really is. It's so unfortunate. What they want to do is go after President Trump. They want to hurt him politically by hurting the economy. But by doing so, they're hurting everyday Americans. They're making it harder to get to the airport, to go on vacation, go on business travel, or go home to see family members. It's really disappointing. And unfortunately, it really shows us who the Democrats are and what they stand for. Republicans, they never did this under Joe Biden's presidency. And unfortunately, we're seeing the repercussions of that action right now. It's unfortunate, but entirely avoidable. We need to make sure government shutdowns never happen again.
All right, so it's March Madness time, that's for sure, in Washington as well. Handicap it for me, Tommy. Do they get this done? Do they get DHS funded anytime soon? And I think more importantly, do we get the SAVE Act put together? Last word to you.
You know, I think we're seeing a lot of progress in reopening DHS, and the sooner that could happen, the better it is for everybody. You have TSA workers working for months without a paycheck. That's not sustainable. You wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And the Senate certainly wouldn't work without pay either.
Well, I did see some Senate Republicans say they should pass a law so that nobody gets paid in Congress if anybody in government is victimized by a government shutdown. I happen to agree with that. Tommy, thank you for being here.
Thank you.